Hello, Scouter Paul here. Since it's a snowy, blistery night, we decided we weren't going to come in tonight. I thought maybe I'd take apart the Scout Express truck and we can start doing a little bit of layout work on there at home with the supervision of your parents. So as I told you before, you have to be very careful not to lose the little bag that comes with this. And I had suggested you get a Tupperware container to put it in. And to prove the point, I just opened this box and there is no wheel bag in there. It's fallen out somewhere in my briefcase, so I'll have to look for that in a little while. Not that I'm going to get to using that tonight. So here is our diagram that we're supposed to decide if we're going to do a conventional cab or a cab over side. And that was going to be out of this block and I believe that block. So we can either do that or we can cut from this block onto this block and make a little design there, so we can get to that later tonight. But for now, we're going to get to the sides of the truck, of the trailer, I mean. And these are the top pieces here. That's the end pieces. So we're not going to need any of this, so I'll just move it out of the way. I'm sure I know what that's supposed to... Oh, that's for the... Okay, never mind. So as you remember, there were two sides, and the two sides were smaller than the two upper pieces. So you can see that this is not as thick, and there's two of them there. So these are the bottoms, the top, the bottom, and the two sides. So what we want to do tonight is we are going to attempt to glue our sides together. So we take an end piece like that and an end piece like this. And I'm doing this for the first time on camera, so it should be interesting to go back and watch this at a later date. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to glue this piece on. Still haven't decided if I'm going to glue the other end piece on and make a complete box, because that's really all that a cab of a truck is. And then come back and glue the lid on. Easier said than done, right? But we'll give it our best shot. So we have different types of glue when you go to the store. We definitely need a wood glue, something that'll hold, and something that sets up fairly quickly. So this is a quick dry glue, wood glue, express glue. I like LePage, and I love how they've done the bottles now. They come with a little top you have to cut off, and the lid pops right in there so you don't lose it. I don't know how many projects I've done and couldn't find the lid when I finished gluing. So I taped down some scrap paper to the ground here, or to the bottom of my desk here. I found this is the shiny side, so we're going to put the shiny side up. It's not that much of a deal with the current truck models, kits that we're getting. Both sides are fairly shiny and smooth. So I'm going to start by running a bead of glue, and don't forget to ask your parents before you do this. And not like any other scouting thing, you can obviously ask them for as much help as you can. This is not a science project. You're not being graded on it. It's all for fun, and the less stress everybody has, the better. So right from the word go, don't be afraid to ask your parents to read instructions with you and learn how to do this. So there's a very big patience factor to this, obviously. When you glue something, this glue sets up in about 15 minutes. So you want to place your pieces of wood together and hold. And hold. As you can see, after a couple seconds, that's not time delayed. That piece seems to be holding on its own. Whoa, I lied. Look at that, it started to move. Oh, obviously we need to hold it there for a little while longer. It's always best to check your wood. Make sure that it is stationary and glued. And having an extra piece of Kleenex around is always helpful, because this glue is best to clean up when it's still wet. When it's dry, you can sand it down, but the more sanding you do, The more sanding you have to do, the harder the project becomes. So that's fairly simple there. You just build the box, making sure it's straight, taking your end piece, laying a little more glue down. Sorry if my head got in the way there. Oh, I see my other end. These aren't particularly square, are they? Oh, yes, they are. Slight difference in them. You want the long end. Like I said, I'm learning with you guys tonight. I've never done this particular project before. The the Cub cars had a little bit more nailing than gluing to it. So you want to get it right on the edge. Wipe the glue down. It's very unfortunate. They used to have all these videos and how to do stuff, how to build these things, and then they said, well, the kids have to learn how to do this on their own. But the whole part of scouting was to teach kids how to do stuff. So I was a little disappointed that I couldn't find a lot of this stuff online for me to use to teach you guys. So you'll find that this fast-setting wood glue actually gets very tacky very quickly. Oops, got some on my desk. I guess I needed a bigger splash pad for the stuff. And if you're clicking in the background, that's just because Jack's sitting here playing a video game instead of coming over and learning how to build his scout truck. I guess he wants to watch the video too. So we've got 2 boards set up there. It's setting up fairly easy. The less you move it, the better. It looks a little messy, but this will dry clear. And it's on the inside of the truck, so it's not going to ruin all those fantastic designs you all gave me last week. So, I'm opening up the wrong glue. I've already got my glue open here. This is a fast hacking carpenter's glue. I was trying to read into it. I thought it might be a better glue for us, but it actually takes longer to set up. It starts out tackier, so it sticks better, but you have to let the truck dry for quite a while before you can move it. So one of the things you want to be careful of with your truck is that you're working in a space where you can sit for a few days and little brothers and sisters or big brothers and sisters or dogs or whatever else vermin you have in your house, as in the way of pets or children. Lumps, older brothers, scouters in training, all that can't gain access to it and hurt it. So it's a project and it's delicate to start with. Well, it's always going to be a little delicate, but it is wood. As you can see, I'm just applying light traces of glue. Whoops. Some not so light traces of glue to different areas. And I'm wiping it down as I go, trying to be gentle, not to shift the wood. And I go back and I check to make sure I'm still square on this one here. It's got to be square on the top of the wood to make the ends fit properly. I'm just going to wipe some of that excess glue off of there. Well, this stuff does set up pretty quick because I spilled a little on the paper and the truck was sticking to it, which isn't a bad thing. Don't forget to wipe your hands. But like other glue, when this does dry on your hands, it just kind of washes off with water and it becomes like we have that second skin, so it really works quite well. One good thing about me doing videotaping, there's a certain scout in my troop that whenever I try to do things, they're always rolling their eyes at me. Well, I can't see them rolling their eyes at me when I do it on videotape. So I'm just an awesome scout leader. No negative input. So I put it out there today when we decided to cancel the meeting that you guys could get out and do a good turn and shovel some driveways tonight, because the snow was coming in and there's a whole bunch of neighbors that were going to be stuck in the snow coming home from work. And it'd be really nice if they came home to a nice shoveled driveway. I understand Logan got out there and he did his shoveling, and Aiden was out there doing some shoveling. And Ethan's mom was trying to get him to go out and do some shoveling, but he was giving her a hard time about it. So that's an awesome, good deed for the week, or a good turn for the week. It's going out and shoveling driveway, especially if you get somebody who's a little older or who works really hard and they don't get home till late. Coming home and having their sidewalk shoveled and their driveway shoveled so their boots don't get all wet, soaking wet from the snow. One less thing for everybody to do, right? So I came home tonight. I got to leave work a little early because I usually do for scouts anyways, so I can make it on time. And I came home and I shoveled my driveway, and then I did my neighbors on both sides, and then I did one across the road because that family works late and they have a little daughter there and they're expecting another baby. So I didn't feel it was right that that young lady had to come home and shovel her own driveway and look after the young girl. How old is Caitlin? 2?
Yeah, around 2.
Yeah, around 2. Having to deal with Caitlin, and so I just thought it would be easier if I just went over and did it. So that was my good turn of the day. Whoops. See what happens when you press a little too hard. I'm trying to be super neat and get extra glue out of there when I should just leave it be, take my own advice. You can see this box is starting to form into a real truck now. It's nice and square. It's starting to set up. Now, the only thing I'm not going to do tonight is I'm not going to glue the lid down. And there's a good reason for that. Because if we want to put any weight on this truck, the best spot to do it is going to be inside this trailer. And the more weight we have in the truck, the faster it will go down the hill. I'm still trying to find out if there's a competition locally that we can join up on. And they'll have their own set rules as to what the weight can be. So I don't want to add weight, and I don't want to glue this down until I find out what the actual rules are. So there, you can see I have my sides together. They're fairly square. I'll put that off to the side, and I'll put the lid on it for now, but there's no glue. And as you can tell, this is the bottom of the thing, so it's going to go towards the back. This is going to be the front of our truck. This is going to be the block that we use. And there's 2 ways the block goes on, so you find the way that matches the bottom of the truck in width. And then this is going to be part of the roof. These are going to be the 2 sides. Now, if I was doing a block truck, like a Minecraft truck, this would be a real cool design right here, I think, if we didn't have anything cut out of it. We just painted it green, shades of green. And then this will be the bumper. And like I said, you got to get a Tupperware container because I'm missing my stacks, and I'm missing my fuel tanks, and I'm missing my wheels. They've all fallen into the bag under the desk. So I should have listened to my own advice and actually got that done and put away in a Tupperware container after our last meeting. So if you go to the dollar store, those little containers with a lid, not much bigger than this box, and all these pieces will fit in it, and then you can bring it to each meeting. So what we're going to do now, while that's drying, we're going to actually design my truck, what it's going to look like. So we're going to do what they call the side view. And I don't have a pencil here. I should have had one out. Part about being a scout is being prepared, isn't it? I must have given away all my scout pencils because I don't see any here. So we're going to design the truck side. So this is the top, this is the side. So we're going to figure out what kind of truck I want. So I'm a big fan of a guy named Optimus Prime from Transformers. So I'm going to kind of design his truck. I looked at it earlier today. So he had a flat front end. And this will be the engine part. And then his windshield, well, I guess he'd come down to about here. His windshield came almost straight up. Little bit of an angle. And you could get a ruler out, or if you've designed this on a piece of paper, you can use the template. I'm going to kind of freestyle it myself. And then he had right up to the top, because we're going to cut the roof. We're going to cut the roof out about here to give it that overhang look that Optimus Prime had. So we're not going to be doing much cutting with my truck. The stacks are going to go towards the back. Yeah, I don't think I'll take too much more off of that. So this is the part I am with the little top piece here, because he had a big radiator in the front of his truck. So you guys can do this. You only have to do the one side, and then color in the part you want me to cut away. Now, if you have someone in your family that's really good at using hand tools, much better than me, please go ahead, design this the way you want. Ask them if they can cut it out. You might want to measure the block, because if it doesn't work out, you can always go and buy a piece of wood and replace the block. I know when I did my one cup car for somebody, I messed it up, and I ended up cutting up a piece of wood and making a new pine car for them, which was very easy because these are pre-drilled slabs. So I took my own cub car bottom and I gave it to that person, and I used the one I made, and my wheels fell off because I didn't have these holes slotted properly. So that's going to be my truck. You don't have to go across the top here, but if you're trying to do for showmanship, you can cut that in there too, so who's ever doing it for you knows that you want it cut. And you can draw the same thing over here, but I'm not going to color mine in so that I know. And then the top of the cab, it's going to have like an overhang here, so you want to get it down the center. So if you want to cut this, you can. So I'm probably going to cut mine about there. And I have a bandsaw out in the garage to cut it. And if we need to, I can bring them all to my house and we can do them here. So that's going to be my truck, and it's going to sit on here. So hopefully you can get an idea how it looks. And then the wheels are going to go here, but we leave the wheels in the bag. It's the last thing we do. So then we're going to glue, though, after we've cut this, we can glue it and paint it. You want to avoid paint wherever the wheels rub against the wood. So you want to avoid that area with paint, because it'll make the wheels stick and not go down the track. These are the sides to the truck. And what we can do there is we have a template. You can mark this part. And if you look here, there's this really cool template for one side. And if you look, you line up this line and that line. Maybe I'll move back in front of the camera. If you move back, you line up that line with this line, you'll find the center of the truck tires right there. So you can come down here, you can copy that or cut it out. You can line that up, and you know your wheels got to go there, and your wheels got to go there. And then you can find something that's circular, like a coin, and you can draw your little cutout that you want so that it goes around the corner. And if you look also here, I know it sounds like a lot of work, but I'm sure once you start playing with it, you're going to get this. If you look here, you're also going to cut this part away. Or you could actually probably, see, I'm learning as I go here. Told you. You could just cut that part or halfway up. You cut all of this away, and then it'll give you a three-dimensional look to your truck. So it looks like you're stepping out of your doors. When you're painting this, you can design a windshield here. You can design a window. You put a big cab out the back. If you look online, you'll find they have like little sleeper cabs here. There's a door handle. You have your door open up. And then you could have this thing right there. So it looks like you're kind of stepping down. But you do it a little higher than this crack where you're gluing it together, and then that seam won't show up when you're designing your truck. So I think I gave you guys some great things to do. So you want to get wood glue. I got Express Collage Laissage Rapide, or if you're English speaking, quick dry glue, wood glue. I can send this on for next Monday. I'll be away, but I'm sure we can get it to the school so that you guys can sit around and work on these trucks. So you can get your boxes built if you don't get them built by next week. And you'll see this box is pretty square. It's got a little overhang here on the end. But it is pretty solid too. It's going to take a day or two to dry, but it's dried enough that you can move it around and stuff now. So I wouldn't put anything inside of it because it's still gluey, sticky. Good English language for your scout leader. And then we'll work on the wheels and that on another time. And I'm going to clean this stuff up. I'm going to look for my missing parts. I'm going to get my Tupperware container, put everything in it, and I might even try using my scroll saw or my jigsaw tonight, or my bandsaw, so that I can cut this out. If you're going to the store for wood glue, one of the other things you're going to want to get, and make sure, sorry, I forgot, make sure you always do this up tight, because when air gets inside of your glue, it'll dry it out on the top and make it useless. And you can't leave this in a car where it'll freeze, or in the garage where it might freeze. So when you buy wood glue, you have to leave it inside your house. I leave mine in the laundry room with permission from my wife. So you'll make sure you get permission from the parental units to leave it there. So I'll leave you with that. Work on your box. If you haven't started your design for your box, work on the design of your box on a piece of paper. You can trace out the boards on a piece of paper and then design your picture. And work on the side of your truck, how you want the side of your truck to work. And if you shade in this area, that's the part that's going to get cut away. All right, you guys have a great night. Go out there and do some good turns. Be good scouts, and I will see you in 2 weeks.